of a zoning quasi-judicial board and get information. Maybe, if you do not want to present that information in public, the question is it the response not at all, not in private, not? I know that if you write something, it becomes public record, but I mean the member of a quasi-judicial board have the right to have that information. So my question is, are we going to be judged by the same rules in every litigation that is a hot issue in the city?
This is a very difficult issue, and I respect Commissioner Sarnoff and his official duties and his responsibility to his constituents. He is an attorney, and he, more than anybody in this commission, realizes and understands the dynamics. We have engaged him. He has engaged members of the administration any number of times with regard to issues related to Home Depot, because it is not a secret that Commissioner Sarnoff has a platform, and correctly so, entitled to have oppositions to Home Depot going where it's going. And so it's not an issue of that. It's an issue simply of the duties that I have towards this commission and towards the administration to advance the best defense when we are being sued. We are being sued by interest adverse to the city. And then when a commissioner identifies with those interests, Commissioner Sarnoff's name is not in the lawsuit. I don't know that he has any other involvement other than being the commissioner for the district that's filing the lawsuit. But I am really in a pickle, and I would beg off some time so that I could seriously obtain the wise counsel of some ethics direction from the Florida Bar, or from someone who has been confronted with an issue where one of your own commissioners, strongly opposes a position that you, as city attorney, are taking in a lawsuit. He's chosen to put me in this predicament at this time, and totally unprepared for it.
Mr. Chairman, can I...
Hey, listen. Let's try to keep order here. This issue was not on the agenda. We brought it as a point of order. The attorney is speaking. When it's done, I'll allow you the opportunity, but, I'm not going to allow this agenda to be hijacked. So, go ahead.
Again, I need to think through this issue. I had no idea that Commissioner Sarnoff was going to be bringing this item up. As recently as yesterday or the day before, he asked for some information. We provided him. The administration gave him a copy of a response to a letter that, in essence, asked exactly the same questions that he's asking here today. And obviously the response he got was not satisfactory to him, nor to the folks who are suing the city.
Mr. City Attorney, the only thing I'd ask you to do is the response that was given to you from the Planning and Zoning Board, I hope you wouldn't destroy it and insert the response that you gave us. Because that's not the response the Planning and Zoning Administrator gave you.
Well, does the Planning and Zoning Administrator have a response? At one point I have to step back and allow the manager to assume the level of responsibility that he needs to assume for his employees vis-a-vis the relation to this board. And this board in the charter has very clear instructions with regard to the interference on the part of this board or any of its member with the conduct of the administration. I am not fully prepared to address precisely how the charter reads in that concern. I don't know whether what Commissioner Sarnoff is trying to do by invoking or trying to get two of you additional to him to go along with it, whether that in essence is a way around the charter or not. I am frankly not prepared at this point to give that level of legal advice to you all, but I turn it over to the city manager.
Mr. Chairman, before it goes to the city manager, I just would like to ask a question so that I'm clear. based upon what you're telling us, are you saying, first of all, the city will become exposed if we vote on this particular item that Commissioner Sarnoff is bringing, that the city administration responding this could actually expose us to some sort of liability? Is that what
Yes, further litigation on the part of those parties that would be affected.
That's the first thing. And then the second part of that is, does that expose us individually?
No, I don't think that would expose you individually. But then again, I haven't had the opportunity to look at what the charter says with regard to this commission, together, not clearly individually. No one of you
may... like the fire fee thing, I think I wasn't involved in the fire fee issue, but I believe...
Correct.
Some of the other commissioners were, correct?
We have been having a series of shade meetings in that regard. Perhaps a solution to this quandary is to have a shade meeting at which point in time, in a strict confidence, where no one, not even then Commissioner Sarnoff, could inform anyone else of what's discussed at that shade meeting, different from the opportunity that he would have to share whatever information he gets with those who are suing the city. So perhaps the way of getting around this whole quandary...
Shade meeting.
I definitely don't have an issue with doing that, Commissioner Sarnoff, so that,
Well, I think there are a few things that aren't being said.
I would want to understand the issue better.
By issuing this letter, what you haven't been told is that you could equally put an end to the litigation. By issuing this letter, what could occur is that this could come back in front of this commission and be resolved by this commission. Those are the things that I'd like to get to. Those are the things that when I read the charter, and forgive me, I happen to be a lawyer as well, and I apologize for that. But as I read the charter, I'm allowed to bring these issues as a point of order, as a commissioner of the district. Whether I have a platform or not, I don't happen to know Commissioner Sanchez's platform, I don't happen to know Commissioner Spence Jones's platform, and I don't happen to know Tomas Regalado's platform. Sir Meisel is, my platform. I believe that this would, in some respects, curtail litigation and put an issue that squarely belongs in front of this commission. Because once this letter is issued, it can be appealed by either side to this commission, and that it can be put to rest. Now, can there be further litigation? As a lawyer, I can tell you, absolutely. Now, what I can tell you as well, nobody here is exposed personally to anything because nobody's waiving their statutory immunity. Sometimes I don't like fear to be the cause of the day or the call of the day when a lawyer gets up and says, but I can't really tell you whether you'll be personally exposed. You won't be.
No, and I've never said individually you would be individually exposed. Now, what Commissioner, giving you my interpretation of what Commissioner Sarnoff has said is that for the longest time, the individuals opposed to the Home Depot have been trying to get this commission involved. From a legal perspective, I view it my job until you, the majority of you, tell me differently, that it's my job to keep this commission or to keep the processes that are in place functioning. And if there has been no reason up until now to get the commission involved in the Home Depot issue, and you haven't been involved, why allow the bootstrapping effect to take place to get you on the vine, to get you to opine, then for the litigation to continue on the basis of an appeal that you have made? It's an issue of strategy. I understand those that are opposed to Home Depot are pursuing that, have been pursuing it for a long time, and I, as your city attorney, have been opposing that as a legitimate strategy to defending a lawsuit. Now, in summary, what Commissioner Sarnoff is trying to do is trying to get a bootstrapping effect so that this commission rules by way of an appeal from this letter, and then once you appeal, then litigation continues, and it continues on a different footing. Right now, the litigation, in my opinion, is not on very solid ground simply because there is no action of the city commission.
All right.
The position of the city would suffer considerably if that were to happen.
Mr. City Manager, you wanted to add something to this before we close it?
Yes, I'll be brief. Obviously, the administration can respond to the questions. However, in a case that is under litigation or potential